Alrighty, so let's do our intro to components. I'm going to show you guys what properties are within components. So right now, as an example, we have our component and a variant. I started off with my button, which was my component. I created a variant, which is a different state of the component. So for instance, it can be a hover state, active state, pressed state. Those properties are what makes up variants. This is an instance. An instance comes from the component, but it's a separate entity because I can still edit it to become this, even though the original says add. So if I want to retrieve it, I can just type in button because the component is called button, and you insert the instance. So how I did this was because I was able to apply my properties for the component, I would just have to change it over here. So let's make this a back arrow. Now it's a back sign. If I wanted to remove the icon, but show it again, remove text, but show it again, I'm able to do this all within one button instead of having to manually change it or make a bunch of new components. I just have this. So I'm going to show you guys how exactly we can apply these properties to components. So I'm going to do what we always do. I'm going to make a text box, add auto layout. Now that we have this, we are going to create a component. We'll call this button2 to make it different. I'm going to add a fill. I want the text to be black. Because it's an auto layout, it's going to be easy peasy adding in our plus sign. All right, let's add the instances. So drag it in here. All right, so we're going to make it a variant. Add property, variant. And now we're going to make the states. So I'm going to change property to state. Default state is what customers see without interacting with the button. When they do interact with it, for our case, they're going to press on it because it's a phone screen. They press on it, it's an active state. And because it's an active state, I want it to be slightly different in color. All right, so let's add our radius. I'm going to do multi-edit variants so that I don't have to keep doing it manually for each one. It's just whatever I do here applies here because it's multi-edit. Where's our radius? 3. Alrighty. So now I'm going to do multi-edit again. Let's do our instance swap. So instance swaps are pretty much elements inside of a component. So before I get to that, make sure for the instance swap property that this pops up. This confirms that your icon is connected to this property. If you don't see this pop up, that means A, you didn't make it a component and that's why it's not popping up here. B, perhaps it's a component, a part of a different file or component library, and you need to detach that instance. Once you do, make it a component again, and you should be fine as long as it was made within the current file that you are on. So let's create the property from this file. And we're going to do for both of these. Let's add our text. So we're going to call it button name. You can tell I've done this a lot of times. Okay, so I'll keep it as add because we can change it once we're done here. Now we're going to move on to our booleans. So before that, actually, I'm going to test out whether or not what I'm adding to the properties are showing up. So this is how you confirm if you see it here, it's applied. Whatever you put here, it's going to pop up on your instance. So now we're going to add the booleans so we can have the option to show icons, show text, or move an icon, whatever floats your boat. So I'll click on icon. I'm going to do multi-edit. I'm going to go to our appearance here, apply property. I'm going to call it show icon. True means show. And then for here, I'm going to go to appearance again, plus, and then I'm going to do show button name, create property. So now I'm going to stop multi-editing. And let's see. So we've added everything. So this just eliminates the amount of components you may make for a design system, and it just makes the flow so much faster and a lot simpler. So for demonstration purposes, I'm going to make this just how I demonstrated in the beginning, but now I'm showing you how I got there. All right, and then we're going to change the icon to be an arrow. And again, if you don't see your components, your icons, whatever it is in this file, you also have the option to check if it may be on a different page. All right, so now that is applied.